Hey, what's up? It's Comic95 the Savior, and for this video I want to give you guys some advice for how to book a reservation at the Pokemon Cafe, Japan. So, first things first that you need to understand is that the Pokemon Cafe is literally just that, a cafe. I do not suggest going here and planning your whole day around being here. It's a very, very, very fast meal. Everything that takes place is going to be in Japanese. Don't worry, you'll probably be only around foreigners. I went together with my husband and he was the only Japanese person there, and nobody could understand anything that was going on but us. So, if you haven't already, please make sure you check out my video. I actually upload a video showing what everything was like at the Pokemon Cafe at Nihonbashi. It's not that far away from Ginza. So just to give you an idea as to where it is, where's Nihonbashi? It's in central Tokyo, essentially. Yeah, so if you know anything about Pokemon Cafe, you probably have felt overwhelmed trying to book a reservation. That's probably why you're on this video. And I want to tell you that it is very difficult, but it's easier than you think it is. So it sounds like a contradiction right there. So hold on. Some important things to understand is that the Pokemon Cafe is extremely popular with tourist and domestic residents that are here. There's a lot of Pokemon fans. Unlike the Pokemon Center and the Pokemon Suites Cafe, the actual Pokemon Cafe, or Pokemon Suites as it's called, the actual Pokemon Cafe does require a reservation, and reservations cannot be made by phone, email, or anything else. You have to make it online. And you're probably wondering, how do I book? It says it's completely full, all the way throughout the entire year. And you're probably misreading the site. So, what you're actually seeing on the screen is the fact that the reservations are not made available until 30 days before that date. So, for example, I'm recording this video and today is May 11th as of the recording of this video, which means that the furthest in advance I can book a reservation is June 11th. June 12th is not available yet. It doesn't mean that there's no open seats. It means that they're not allowing people to even make a reservation for that day. The long story short quick answer to your question is, the way to book a reservation is two things. One, you are going to need to constantly refresh your browser and preferably use two different devices if you can, a computer and a phone if possible. Honestly, I was able to pull it off by just using my smartphone. And two, I highly suggest that you are online at these two different hours. First one being, you want to be online when reservations first become available, which is at 6 p.m. Let me check that, make sure I'm right. I believe it's 6 p.m. Yes, 6 p.m. 31 days before. So basically every day at 6 p.m. you have a chance to make a reservation. So you absolutely have to catch that time at 6 p.m. And if you're online at 6 p.m., you're like, oh my god, all the reservations are full, the website gets crowded, busy. That's exactly what happened to me. Mind you, I was able to book 3 different times. So this works. I've tried it several times. It works. You're going to want to stay online and constantly refresh the browser. Use more than one, computer, phone, whatever you have to use. More than one if you have the option, but if you don't, it's okay. Just keep refreshing. Within about 20 to 30 minutes, you'll see several of those reservations disappear, and you'll now be able to book a reservation on that day at the time that you probably want, or at least on the day. The reason why this happens is basically the system gets overcrowded, too much going on, and it makes some errors, ends up holding some seats or whatever, and it makes it where it looks like everything's completely full booked when it's really not. But see, this is a good thing. A lot of people are going to leave the site thinking that they can't get a reservation for that day when they could have if they were a little more determined, like how you are going to be, and stayed on the site for longer. The second thing that you might also find to be helpful is to not just plan to get a reservation at that time at 6 p.m. when they first become available, but also come back online at 3 a.m. and come back online for the third time. So 3 a.m. Japan time, 6 p.m. Japan time, and one more time the day before you actually want to go. And the reason being is, they ask that you cancel your reservation in advance, and a lot of people that have booked these reservations, because they're not paying for them, it's completely free to make a reservation with the Pokemon Cafe. A lot of people make reservations and they cancel at the last minute. They decide not to go. So you'll see seats free up literally the day before. So it's really important that you are online throughout the day, like the following day, like right before you want to go. Like, for example, let's say that you booked a reservation for June 11th, but really you wanted to go on June 10th. Go online on June 9th, and more than likely you'll see at least one, if not several people, cancel their reservation, and now you can go. It might not be the time that you want, but you'll have the day that you want. You might also find it useful to change the amount of people in your group. So for example, if you're trying to go with a group of 10 people, 8 people, I think is the max they allow for you to book at one time, it might be easier for you to find seats if you narrow it down to 2 people, 1 person, etc. So just be really careful with how you're choosing to make your reservation. You do not have to buy your little plushies and whatnot when you make your reservation right then. You can buy stuff once you get to the actual place. Not to mention there's a Pokemon Center there, but if you're like absolutely determined to get like the exclusive, Chef Pikachu type, plushies or whatever, of course you can buy those there in the store and online, but it does not have to be purchased online, and trying to purchase it will not interfere with your seats being taken. Once you click on it and make the reservation time, you've locked in that time even before you finish entering your information. So just be made aware of that. That's pretty much it. Basically just be determined, stay on the site, understand that it is an error with the system, but basically stay on 30 minutes after. So from 6 to 6:30, I really say 6 to 7 o'clock. Stay online. You'll see people constantly changing their times, booking, canceling, system errors, etc. You will be able to book for that day. But do understand that it's a lot harder if you're just coming to Japan and you didn't know you had to do this stuff in advance. So the next solution that I have for you, this is harder to do, but it's possible. You can actually show up to the Pokemon Cafe without a reservation, but the tricky part is you're going to have a bit of luck and a lot of patience. More than likely, at least one person, if not several people that didn't cancel, are going to do a no call, no show, basically. And if that's the case, you can take their reservation and sit wherever they had, their seat was going to be. So this way you don't have to make a reservation. So this is another option for you. Don't be afraid of showing up to the Pokemon Cafe without a reservation. However, again, you don't know what time I'll be available. You might have to wait there all day until you find an empty slot. But trust me, at least a few people every day cancel the reservation without actually calling and informing the store that they won't be there. So do make sure that, if you really have to go there, you're going there for a child, a birthday for yourself, you're a huge Pokemon fan, definitely show up to the cafe anyway. I do not suggest that everyone does this, but if you're in a pinch and you have no time, it's someone's birthday, you're only going to be in Japan for 3 days, it's definitely worth doing it. But like I was saying at the beginning of the video, do keep in mind that it is a cafe. This is not a place to go to and have a really good feeling meal. The meal is made to be cutesy. Please watch my video in which I talk about the review of the restaurant, but in a nutshell, it's not a place to eat good food. Don't fall for the TikTok videos, Instagram videos, YouTube, etc. The food tastes like trash. It's horrible, actually. It's actually probably the worst food I've ever had in Japan, without exaggeration. I mean that. That says a lot. However, it looks cute. The ambience and environment was fun, and I would honestly go back again. I was unfortunate to go on a day in which they ran out of the signature Pikachu plates, which is fine because I love Eevee too, so I got Eevee instead. I was planning for my husband to actually get Eevee, and I was going to get Pikachu. We just have shared a Snorlax plate, but he ended up getting Snorlax, and I got Eevee, but that's all another story. So, yeah, long story short, you can get this reservation. It's probably a little bit tricky, but it is definitely possible and doable. Best of luck to you. Again, just make sure that you're doing everything in Japan time, and you'll be good to go. So, yeah, if you cannot book a reservation, do not be afraid to show up anyway, and just be patient, willing to wait. And while you're waiting, the greatest thing about it is the Nihon Bashi store. There's actually a Pokemon Center connected to it. So you can literally go to the Pokemon Center while you're waiting for, table to be freed up, etc. You don't want to stay in there too long, but I mean, for example, let's say that you go and you were expecting to, sit down at the table at 5 p.m., but there are no slots available at 5. Well, you can wait for an hour at the Pokemon Center, and then maybe at 6 there's a table available. So there's a lot to do in Nihon Bashi and Ginza anyway, so just keep coming back. But again, I will also warn you that this is not a place to eat delicious food, and if you're only going to be in Japan for a short period of time, you might want to consider, is it worth it to waste your entire day around going here? And if you're just a huge Pokemon fan, it's worth it to you, then by all means do it, especially if you're going to be here for 2 weeks, a month, or whatever. You definitely have time to waste, technically, if that's what you want to do. But do be mindful that you're going to be doing all of that for a meal that's not going to be good. It's picturesque, it's going to look nice for TikTok and Instagram, but the food is not good at all. It's horrible. So the best thing there was honestly the smoothie that we had, even a hot cocoa. They literally just used hot water, and it literally tasted like hot water with a melted piece of chocolate. And I don't mean that inside of a good way, because I actually tried to make hot cocoa using milk and melted chocolate and a lot of melted chocolate, and it did not taste chocolatey. It was actually horrible. I don't know why the regular cocoa powder, you would think the powder would have a more generic, not good taste, but it tastes better than the chocolate. That's the whole story. Basically, I had the Eevee hot chocolate and it was horrible. It's a whole story. Watch a video about that type of stuff. So, yeah. Best of luck to you. I hope that you can get the reservation that you want. Again, if you can't book it online, do it in person. Make sure that you are online. Have your friends and family helping you out. Anybody else is going to be joining you on this trip. You can translate everything into English if you can't understand by using Google Chrome or going to the top left-hand corner of your browser on, Apple, depending on what phone you have, on Safari, and translating it into English. I do recommend translating it back into Japanese after you get the gist of what's being said, because I find that like the calendar function gets a little bit weird when I have it in English. So just be mindful of that. So again, if you don't get a reservation for the day or time that you want, just check again the day before. If you see like everything's full, for the whole year, it's just because it's not 30 days before. The reservations only become available 30 days before. So again, today's May 11th. I cannot look at June 12th. I have to wait until May 12th to see June 12th. You get what I'm trying to say? So that's all for this video. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please leave a comment down below. You can send me an email as well. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I make videos talking about Japan, Japanese culture, Japanese news, media, etc. Please be sure to check out my YouTube channel's homepage. I've probably already made a video answering your questions there. I have playlists on dating, studying, living, working in Japan there. And you can also follow me on my social media. I have an Instagram and Twitter at Comic95, a Snapchat and TikTok at Comic the Savior, a Facebook fan page at Comic95 the Savior, and a blog at Comic95.com. So thank you so much for listening, and thank you for watching, and I hope you'll watch another video.